Most of the dogs come from shelters. We are not a open sanctuary. We are a closed sanctuary, and most of them come from different shelters where volunteers or shelter employees or directors call us. Say like, hey, we have a dog, very sweet, very friendly. Either family has stopped them because they couldn't afford the expenses, or they were found stray, somebody has dumped them, and they need medical help, and that's when they come in. So we don't take in like regular healthy dogs because they have a lot of rescue groups that they can go to. But very few rescue groups can take cases like we do. I was a petroleum geologist before. So in my whole life, I wanted to do things my way, and I always got attracted to things that have a lot of freedom. So I was a pilot before because freedom. I do not like big crowds. I'm not a very social person. Maybe that's why I like animals better. But flying gave me freedom. Then I wanted to become a geologist, but that gives you freedom. You're out, away from everybody, in the field, being one with the rocks kind of thing, and just, going around in nature. And I thought that's what I was looking for. It gave me a lot of freedom, but I always was not unhappy, but unsatisfied. And I was always looking for that next thing I needed to do or next goal I need to achieve. Once I found this calling, which was weird. I didn't even like dogs before. But once I found this calling and I started doing this, I'm happiest and most content I have been in my whole life. I had compassion towards animals, so my contribution to that was always writing a check and sending to, wildlife funds, Sierra Club kind of thing. And I thought I did my job, but not touching the dog or taking care of them. It was just not my thing. Until Moti, she came in my life and she changed my world. She was left in summer. At that time I was in Dallas-Fort Worth. In middle of summer, people just up and left, and she was tied to a tree, left outside without food and water. She was there for 3 days. And one of the friends was complaining about how this dog has been crying and animal control is not coming to pick her up and they can't sleep at night. And I was like, let me go check. Is she stressed? Is she hurt? Because it was more like crying than barking. And when we went in, she was tied to the tree, and she was 6 months old, white pit bull puppy with spiky collars, big chain that she couldn't even carry, and she has wrapped herself all around it, so she was all tied down, just lying there crying, no food, water. And we did not have a clue about dogs or pit bulls, and I was scared, so he untied it from the tree instead of untying her from the collar, and took her with the chain and said, okay, we'll take her to the shelter, and shelter can take care of her. I took her to the shelter, and shelter said, nope, we are gonna put her down. Pit bulls, we don't adopt pit bulls out, so that's it, sign over here. I was like, no, we did not save her or rescue her to do this. I can't take that responsibility, or I can't have that on my conscience. And I said, well, then you need to take her back and advertise it and adopt her out yourself. I was a student at that time, very little money. So I called the newspaper. It's like 2000. And the newspaper said, yeah, you can do like, 1 line or 2 line ad. So I wanted to do 1 line ad. So I wanted to do free dog to a good home. But that was taking it to the 2nd line. So we took out the free and said, dog to a good home. And I received so many calls. It was like, hey, so what kind of dog do you have? Oh, it's white, pit bull. Does she have red nose? We'll pay you $800. We'll pay you $1,000 at that time. And for a student, that was a lot of money. I was like, oh, I did not know I can get money out of it. So let me call the shelter and ask them how much should I charge for her. And I called the shelter back. And shelter said, do you know what they're going to do with her? I was like, no. And I was like, well, they're going to breed her. They're going to fight her puppies. And she's going to have a really miserable life. Bring her back and we can put her down or find another way. And that opened the door to the world that I had no clue about. So I started doing research on pit bull fighting, found out in Fort Worth that was really bad at that time. And I decided, okay, I'm going to save some money, get her fixed, and then I'm going to adopt her out. I still didn't want her, and she was outside. I can't believe I did it to her. But she was outside, tied to my fence with that big, ugly chain. But then I decided, okay, we need to do something about it. I was feeding her and I was just throwing food on the ground because I didn't want to touch her. I was scared of her. But it rained, those summer rains, and I had given her a comforter to sleep on. I got up in the morning, she was all wet, comforter was all wet, and she was curled up in a ball. And it just broke my heart. And I was like, I can't have that. If she's gonna be here, I need to take proper care of her. So we put her in back of a truck, the truck I borrowed from a friend, and took her a car wash because I was gonna just run her through because I didn't want to touch her, to wash her in a car wash. Luckily, they were really nice people over there. It's like, stop, what the heck are you doing? I was like, well, I need to wash the dog and I don't want to touch her. I'm scared of her. And they helped us wash her. She used to stink like, oh my God. So anyway, I brought her home. I gave her another comforter and put her right outside, inside the back door, coming into a kitchen on a tile. And I told her, don't move. And next day in the morning, I was thinking like, I'm gonna come down and whole room will be destroyed, or living room. I came out, she was exactly where I had left her. And I was like, oh my God. And she looked at me with those eyes and I was like, I'm in trouble, but that's okay. Then I told her she can sleep next to the sofa in the living room. Then I think 3 days later, I told her she can sleep on the sofa and can't move. And every night it was the same story. So now you can sleep over here, but don't move. And I think a week or 2 weeks later, she was sleeping in my bed. She was fixed. I was still advertising, and we had somebody who was gonna adopt her. And they were coming Sunday at 3:30. And at 3 o'clock, I was packing her bed, her toys, everything that I have bought for her. And I broke down and cried, and I knew that it's over and I needed to keep her. And that was the day my life changed completely. So Woodlands Eco Realty is, of course, a real estate company. We help buyers and sellers find their homes or sell their homes, and then we have some investors who like to invest in real estate here in our area. But the money that we get in commissions from doing these services or providing these services, that's the money that goes to take care of the dogs. So every time somebody is buying or selling with us, they're actually saving a life, even if they don't know it. And we have found out that a lot of people come to us because of what we do, and we are good at doing real estate. But a lot of people come without knowing, just because somebody has referred them to us or they heard about us and saw our reviews. But once they get to us and they find out what we do, it just changes how they look at us and what all they want to do for us. So most of our clients become our supporters and part of the family. So both businesses are intertwined because a lot of people don't get it. So we called it rescue and real estate. So I always thought that non-profit businesses should be run like for-profit, but they also should be supported by for-profit business. And that's where the whole idea is like, what can I do that's for-profit business that can generate income and donate it to take care of the animals versus me going out and begging for money. And that's how Woodlands Eco Realty was formed, and it worked out really good. It supports 100% of the sanctuary expenses because of the medical expenses are really, really high for us. It's a special needs sanctuary, so we get a lot of hospice cases, cancer cases, dogs that get hit by a car, or the medical expense part. And that's what I wanted to do, because a lot of dogs are left in shelters because rescue groups do not have resources. And they think, okay, we can save one dog and spend $5,000 on this, or we can save 50 dogs and just pay for spay and neuter and get them adopted out. And my goal was that there should be a place where these dogs, even if they're unadoptable, can come and spend their time, but not in cages, but in a home setting where they feel like they are home. If they get adopted, great. If not, they always have a home. I never want them to feel that they are kennelled or caged, because like I said, freedom is the most important thing personally to me. And I want them to be free. I don't want them to feel like they are stuck in small cages. I think that life is not worth living. So if they're gonna live like they're living in a home. So those rooms are set up with a bed and a sofa. So it's like a living room. So in their mind, they are living in a home, in a living room. Some of them do get adopted, but if they have a serious medical condition and if they have only few months to live, then they stay here until they pass away. really hard, but somebody had to do it. And it does break your heart every time somebody passes away. But if I don't do it, then who else? Yes, it just breaks your heart and it hurts your soul. But I think that's my path. That's what I'm born to do. That's what I'm sent for. This is my life's calling. So.